Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I wanted to talk about 2023 and what a crazy year it has been for the world, but for movies in particular, the movie industry. Because I don't know, this year feels like it's been a really long year, and so much has happened. And so many movies have come out, but not a lot of superhero stuff, or at least that's what it feels like. And it feels like we're starting to see kind of a shift in Hollywood not necessarily relying on, superhero stuff to make big money, because we've seen in recent years you have to actually try when making a superhero movie for it to do good. You can't just make shit and then expect people to keep coming. They're going to catch on. And that's kind of what this year has felt like. We've had the writer strikes and the actor strikes, and who knows what other strikes happened, because it felt like there were so many different strikes in different industries going on, and people were kind of going, hey, you can't keep treating us like shit. You can't be putting out mediocre content and expecting audiences to just be happy and continue consuming it. Eventually, people are going to catch on, and they're going to be like, "Hey, like, we actually don't like what you've been putting out. We're going to stop watching." And we've seen some shows just randomly get canceled because Disney was banking on people just mindlessly being loyal to the brand of Disney and Marvel and whatever else. And we've seen some properties that you wouldn't think a few years ago would do super well. And yet this summer we had Barbenheimer happen, which who would have guessed those two movies would be as big as they are? Especially at that time, I think they were going against Mission Impossible, and Mission Impossible didn't do too well because of those movies. And yeah, Barbie is a big IP, but compared to the way movies have been, you have your big, your Tom Cruise franchise, you got your Fast and Furious, and obviously you got the MCU, and then you have DC trying to be the MCU. Just to see some movies come from left field and kind of take everyone by storm was pretty cool to see. I didn't see Barbie because it just isn't something that really interests me. Not necessarily because it's like, oh, it's a girl movie, but I just had no interest in seeing it. I saw Oppenheimer. It was really good, really long, but I think those two movies are some really good examples of it doesn't have to be a superhero thing. Wonka recently has come out in December of 2023, and it's doing way better than Aquaman, a musical. Wonka is an IP, but it's not, an IP that's been run into the ground, it hasn't been milked for all it's worth. They're probably going to be making some sequels or something, but it just feels like a lot more movies took more risks. There's been a lot more creativity in projects, and we're starting to see that. Like, there's some movie trailers that I've seen at the movies recently where I'm like, this actually looks really interesting. Like the one ISS movie. Again, it's no IP, it's just a really good premise where there's these American and Russian astronauts, and they're stuck in the same space station. Meanwhile, they're looking down at Earth, and there's a whole nuclear battle happening. Good concepts, good cinema, basically. And it feels like we're starting to see the return of that, not just, factory made movies in the assembly line of Marvel and Disney and all that stuff. It feels like more risks are being made. And yeah, I think this year kind of proved to a lot of movie studios that, hey, people like quality. I feel like it just reminded everyone of what really makes good movies, good cinema. And it's not necessarily IP. IP helps in bringing in, the general audience, but first it needs to be something good for that general audience to want to keep coming back. And even the new Ninja Turtles movie, Mutant Mayhem, which came out in the summer, that movie gave us a version of the Ninja Turtles that we have not seen before. Same thing with Spider-Verse and probably a bunch of others that I'm forgetting, but it doesn't have to be cookie cutter. And I feel like Marvel has recognized, like, oh crap, we have been doing the cookie cutter way. Which is not the way. There were some controversies with Marvel where it was revealed they kind of didn't have head writers or something like that on their shows, where it was like, how? Like, there was no direction with the shows. They were kind of just winging it basically this whole time, and that was kind of recognized as they were making the new Daredevil show, where they're like, this is not up to the previous Daredevil show standards. What's wrong here? And they kind of hopefully are going to get better at that. So yeah, 2023 felt like a year of lessons and reminders. So yeah, I really just wanted to talk about that. I'm sure there's a lot more movies I wanted to talk about here, but it's escaping me. Almost every Marvel project I've seen this year has not been good. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania felt like it was 2 years ago. not good. Guardians 3 was actually good, but again, it feels like that movie's an outlier because James Gunn was actually given a lot more creative freedom to make what he wanted to make. Guardians has always been kind of, the outlier in Marvel content because it's characters that not a lot of people necessarily know the lore of. It's not like a Superman or a Batman where it has to be a certain way. So that, I feel like that's why Guardians did better than, your Ant-Man and all that stuff. Ant-Man felt very generic. I can't even recall what other Marvel stuff came out this year. That's how bad it's been, because usually I'll remember. Oh, Star Wars had some stuff. Ahsoka was a step in the right direction, I felt. I'm not sure if anything else Star Wars came out this year. Again, has felt so long. I think the writer's strike kind of delayed enough stuff to where Hollywood and movie producing and all that stuff could kind of reset a little bit. It was kind of like a mini blip for movies, even though they had a whole freaking pandemic to reset, but they didn't really learn from that. Hopefully now they can kind of go, okay, people caught on. We actually have to try now. We actually have to give them our best effort, or else they'll know. They'll know that we're trying to get by and not really make something worth their while. So yeah, happy 2023, or end of 2023. Happy New Year to everyone watching. Or if you're watching this in 2024, you're in the future. Yeah, thank you guys very, very much for watching. I'm just gonna keep kind of doing these chill videos more often because they don't take a lot of time to edit. And yeah, I'll see ya.